Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to Prof. Madya, Dr. Muhammad Najib bin Mansur. I am Zarif, Zahiruddin and other members from Group 4 will present an assignment about Singapore Airlines and Jetstar Asia Airways. So I'm going to start with an introduction. The first company is Jetstar Asia Airways. Jetstar Asia Airways is Singapore-based low-cost airline that has been in operation for over a decade. The second company is Singapore Airlines. Singapore Airlines is the world's second largest airline headquartered in Singapore. This slide shows the board directors of Jetstar Asia. And this slide shows the board directors of Singapore Airlines. Next, I am going to talk about problems or issues in Jetstar Asia Airways due to pandemic COVID-19. The first issue is Jetstar Asia to suspend all operation for at least 3 weeks. To reduce the risk of pandemic, Singapore government issued a COVID-19 control order that resulted in the cancellation of travel and trip packages. The second issue is Jetstar Asia Airways to cut a quarter of its workforce. Jetstar Asia has declared that at least 26% of its employees will be laid off. The objective is to sustain the business during pandemic. The last issue is Jetstar Asia to dispose of aircraft. That's all from me and I'll pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'll be talking about the problems of Singapore Airlines. Cutting 4,300 positions. Singapore Airlines reported that it was cutting any rate of 4,300 positions across its group of airlines in a light of the worldwide effect of the COVID-19 pandemic and cuts of 2,400 staff. Second problem, focus on payload. Singapore Airlines will focus on payload ability to transport COVID-19 vaccine safely and prioritize it before cargo and other flights. Problem number 3, 1 billion fallout. Singapore Airlines reported that 1.21 billion fall in during COVID-19 pandemic, laying out its shape and size of this company. Thank you. I'll pass to the next presenter.
I will talk about how Jetstar Asia and Singapore Airlines handled the issue that came out during COVID-19. First, I want to talk about how Jetstar Asia Airways handled their problem during COVID-19 issue. First, Jetstar Asia introduced the Fly Well program. Asia is working to improve their method, which include the usage of online system to practice social distancing. Jetstar Asia has upgraded their operation system to make it more efficient from the start of your flight. Before you travel at the airport, at the departure gate, on board, and how to remain healthy among the things. Next is Jetstar Asia cutting costs by cut up the job and extend staff furlough under COVID-19 recover plan. Jetstar Asia, a Singapore-based low-cost carrier, has said that by retrieving at least 26% of its workers, they will be able to lower the expenditure they have to cover. This is because the fund that would have been needed to crew's wages may not be utilized to cover the expenses, reducing the losses they will suffer. Next, Jetstar Asia will also remove the Airbus A320 aircraft from its. Both Airbus A320 are expected to cancel indefinitely, reducing the airline fleet to only 13 planes. So we may conclude that by removing part of the Jetstar Asia Airbus and aircraft, the cost that they must bear will be reduced. Next, I will talk about how Singapore Airlines handled their issue during COVID-19. Singapore Airlines boosts liquidity amid coronavirus crisis. Singapore Airlines has increased its liquidity. This is one way SIA handled COVID-19 issues. In March 2020, SIA raised up to $1 billion to strengthen its cash position. Next, Singapore Airlines expected to remain fiercely competitive. After COVID-19, the aviation industry is projected to remain competitive. There is a very competitive field. Factor will influence how it appears, how competitive it will be. Next is about International Air Transport Association IATA travel pass for health verification. The IATA Travel Pass digital health verification application will be piloted by Singapore Airlines as the first airline to do so. Passenger may use the app to register for the COVID-19 test and see their result at participating clinic. Next, about Singapore Airlines has launched the Kris Plus app to increase non-airline income. They rolled out a new Kris Plus app to increase a non-airline income as one of the next steps. So in order to make more revenue, SIA introduced Kris Plus app. Singapore Airlines has introduced Kris Plus apps that give a user with financial, lifestyle, and reward service all in one place. The last one for the Singapore Airlines is Airlines Restaurant. Due to the slew of restrictions and challenges that make it difficult for airlines to conduct business as normal, Singapore Airlines is attempting to innovate by providing a new service in addition to flying service. To stay apart, Singapore Airlines has decided to turn two of its Airbus, which is A380 plane, into restaurants that provide eating experience with the really the plane atmosphere. Okay, that's all from me, and I will pass to the next presenter, which is Farisha. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. I'm Farisha Idayu, metric number 270914, and today I will talk about the recommendations that actually we discuss from four different perspectives: from management perspective, legislation perspective, human resource management, and strategy and structure perspective. First of all, I will talk about the management perspective. The management perspective, most of the company actually can do a collaboration with the government and NGO agency, such as with the Singapore Tourism Board. Actually, from the collaboration, they can help each other in increasing their demand for their service. For example, they can collaboration in strategic innovation to create a new and value-added service, and also the travel package that might attract more tourism to use their services. The next one is cost management. Okay, instead of disposing the aircraft that might be useful for future growth, company can reduce on aircraft maintenance only, such as both company can sharing network and facilities to purchase their maintenance together. Actually, it can make the both company having a low price of maintenance and can lower their cost expenditure. The next one is postponing or cancel discretionary expenditure. Discretionary expenditure can be defined as the non-essential expenditure that, although the expenditure is being stopped by the company can still run as usual, such as advertising campaign and others. The next one is merge and acquisitions. Merge can be defined as two companies being combined to create a new legal entity. The merge actually can help to sustain and to future growth of company. And then merge and acquisition can lead to cost reductions, tend to having a low cost operation, and company can operate as a low cost flight. Actually, this merge strategy can help in financial survival. Acquisition can be defined as one company take another company, and actually it's like a win-loss situation. But actually, this merge and acquisition having an advantage. The first advantage is because of merge and acquisition, the company can operate in low-cost operations that can lead to economic of scale. And the second advantage is diversification of risk between company, which is both company can disperse their risk and can discuss to solve problem together. Okay, that's all from me. I will pass to next presenter, Zaharah.
Thank you to Farisha. Now I will continue for the recommendation part. I will explain three perspectives. First one is legislation perspective. Second, human resource management perspective. The last one is strategy and structure perspective. Before I start, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Zaharah Binti Abdul Aziz and number metric is 270928. Alright, now is a legislation perspective. Singapore Airlines and Jetstar Asia Airways are recommended to approach the Singapore government to create a legislation that allow the airline industry to do a direct flight service to other country by doing air travel bubble. Air travel bubble are the term that allows citizens to go to travel to a certain countries by opening their borders during this pandemic. Therefore, Singapore Airlines and Jetstar Asia Airways can do their own protocol during this travel, and it will give all airline industry a standardization rules during this operation. Next slide. Alright, for the human resource management perspective, there are 2 points. First point is Singapore Airlines and Jetstar Asia Airways are encouraged to provide a personal protective equipment PPE for the cabin crews and all workers. Singapore Airlines and Jetstar Asia Airways are encouraged to provide all safety equipment such as PPE for their employee, so that their employee will have a low rate of coronavirus infection and will have an adequate staffing rate during the operation, because these both companies employees do not have to go to quarantine and engage with this outbreak infection. Second is Singapore Airlines and Jetstar Asia Airways can offer upskilling and reskilling program for their employee. This upskilling program and reskilling program can build a added value to their employee by exploring a new skill and abilities for them to prepare this new normal environment. This upskilling program and reskilling program does not only give exposure to the airline industry skill, it also gives exposure to the employee for the other field, such as business and marketing management. Therefore, if Singapore Airlines or Jetstar Asia Airways need to lay off their employee, it will give advantage to this employee because they already learn and have a knowledge about other fields such as business. Next slide. The last point for the recommendation part is strategy and structure perspective. There are 2 main points. The first point is Singapore Airlines and Jetstar Asia Airways need to change in their transport behavior by increasing the cargo flight that can gain more profit. Singapore Airlines and Jetstar Asia Airways need to modify the condition of aircraft by filling the cabin space of aircraft with the cargo item and to maximize the space for the cargo and service. The cabin space of aircraft are included under and above the passenger seat and the storage section. It will fill by the cargo item but must comply with a certain screening condition to avoid any accident during the operation. The last point is Singapore Airlines and Jetstar Asia Airways can create a strategic partnership with Shopee and Carousel. This strategic partnership will help these 2 countries to create a smart logistic network with the multinational technology in e-commerce sectors such as Shopee and Carousel, because they will create a new capability and ability that they can share the benefit together. The Singapore Airlines and Jetstar Asia Airways will be the air transport hub to deliver goods from Shopee and Carousel customer to other countries where they do the operation, such as Carousel do a many operation in this world such as Malaysia, Philippines and Australia. Therefore, Singapore and Therefore, this strategic partnership will give a benefit to Shopee and Carousel, also to the Therefore, this strategic partnership that do by Shopee, Carousel and Singapore Airlines and Jetstar Asia Airways will bring a benefit to Singapore government and Singapore country's economic strategy. That's all for me. I would like to pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Overall, airline industries is one of the industries that has faced a huge impact and losses during the COVID-19 pandemic because of the operations being interrupted due to the many challenges and restrictions that occur and being implemented by the government. To sum up, each department of both companies comes up with its trades and innovation to gain profit and cover up their losses to sustain business during this pandemic, such as making innovation to provide other service and cutting a cost for operations. Singapore Airlines and Jetstar Airways could try to implement to sustain their business in the long term. That's all we had to present. Thank you for listening. Au revoir.